So Service Cloud 2, how many of you have already been to one of our Service Cloud 2 announcements, whether it was here in San Francisco, Tokyo, New York, London, or one of our other Service Cloud 2 announcements? Raise your hands. Not very many. Wow. Okay, well, I'm glad you're here. Fantastic. Well, Service Cloud 2 is the next generation of customer success. We're already very, very popular in the customer service world. In fact, Frost & Sullivan says that 55% of the market is already held by our Service Cloud product line. And that's because we have over 8,000 customers who are enjoying tremendous success with our customer service solutions, with customer satisfaction, call deflection, first call resolution, service and support productivity, and customer retention. But it's really this Service Cloud 2 that we're really excited about. But when we decided and when we started to develop the Service Cloud 2 over 18 months ago, there was just one problem that we were trying to solve. And the one problem that we were trying to solve, I think, will be something that everyone here can relate to. And that is that the whole concept of customer service and support is broken. That when I was trying to get customer support for my products in the past, I would usually be calling the call center, the contact center. That I'd be kind of trying to reach, hello, oh, I have my problem, can you help me? Oh, sorry, my cell phone died, And what's happened is it shifted. It shifted to Google and Facebook and Twitter. I don't know how many of you have had the same experience, but actually last week I got the new BlackBerry Bold 2. It's a fantastic product. And I have a Jawbone headset. And for the life of me, I spent 2 hours in my kitchen trying to pair my Jawbone headset with my BlackBerry Bold. Now, I'm sure no one here has had any kind of experience like that, because you're all probably far more technical and capable than I am, but I just could not get the thing to go. I would hold the Jawbone, and then it would start flashing white, and then this, and so finally what I did was I went to Google and I typed BlackBerry Bold Jawbone pairing, and up came 6 sites, community sites, and some blogs that basically, and then it was a video that I found that said, now you've got to hold this and this together, and then you have to wait for the red and white lights to blink at the same time, and then when that's happening, then on your Bold, then you have to push this button, then you have to type in these 5 numbers. And I'm like, wow, that was unbelievable. But, BlackBerry RIM didn't benefit from that support interaction, and neither did Jawbone. They didn't know that they could make their product easier or better. Both are high-quality products, just hard to get to work together. And I think the problem is that companies continue to invest in that call center, contact center, the past of Oracle, and the past of SAP, and the past of Amdocs, and Siebel, and Microsoft, those kind of self-contained contact centers, those people waiting on the phone for the calls that are not going to come, and then all the action that's happening on the internet. So with Service Cloud 2, our vision was, why don't we build a multi-tenant shared knowledge management system? A system that can be tied into Google, that can be tied into Facebook, and tied into Twitter, tied into the community sites, so that you have one place for all your knowledge, like how to get those two things to work together. And that then you can add in the call center functionality, so the agent headsets and the agent console. And then you can add in the email capability, so you can receive an email automatically. And that the email, if it finds the knowledge management, it's able to return with the right information. And chat. And create a custom customer portal with all of the knowledge management, with all the answers and the FAQs using Visualforce, or with our public website capability. And build a community. And make sure our partners are available and know about this information, and even can bring the knowledge management directly to the site. And finally, that when you type that Google search, that magically it comes up from your site, and it says, need help pairing BlackBerry with Jawbone? Click here. And it just comes up. Or that when you go to Twitter, or that when you go to Facebook for help, that it's integrated, and that Service Cloud 2 is part of that. We think there's time for change in our industry. And sometimes key technologies, and this is certainly one of them, customer service and support systems, call centers and contact centers have not moved forward, and we need them to. I'd like to recognize one of the customers here. I know they've got 8 of their employees here. Procter & Gamble, global call center, took a chance with this product and became one of our first customers. They now have 1,100 agents deployed in 28 countries. They've deployed 22 call centers in only 8 months. Speed and agility to manage, constant brand changes, and dramatic reduction in cost of ownership. Would the folks from P&G just stand up and be recognized? If you're from P&G, would you just go ahead and stand up? We know we have 8 of you here. Thank you very much in the back. Thank you very much. Congratulations. So we want to show you what this looks like. What happens when you take that infrastructure? What happens when you take the development platform? What happens when you have a radically new vision of the Service Cloud with all of this integration? What can a next generation customer service and support system look like? And to bring that to you, I've invited onto stage Kraig Swensrud, our Senior Vice President of Product Marketing, to give us a demonstration of Service Cloud 2. Come on out here, Kraig.
All right. Great. All right, well, this is going to be fun today because we're going to show you a demo of Service Cloud 2. And what it really is it's a new customer service offering that's been designed for cloud computing. And what that means, as Marc was mentioning, is that we bring the traditional channels of customer service, like the telephone and email, together with these new cloud-based channels of customer service, like Google Search, online communities, and even social websites like Facebook and Twitter that we're going to show you today. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's bring up the demonstration of Service Cloud 2 right now. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to show you an example of what's possible for a company like Dell, who sells consumer and business products. And of course, this is what a service agent sees when they log into the Service Cloud. If we zoom into the top of the screen, what you can see there is that the service agent has access to all these channels right in the UI. So the phone, email, chat, and even Facebook and Twitter that we're going to show you in a second. But first, let's take the example of what would happen when somebody calls in to the call center at Dell. What would they see? Well, the system is integrated to the telephony, so they get a screen pop. They know immediately who they're speaking to. In this case, we can see that we're speaking to a woman named Carol White. Now, also, because this is one integrated CRM application, we have access to the products that Carol bought, the recent cases, the entire activity history, the sales calls. But of course, what we do now is we listen on the telephone and we listen to Carol's question. Carol is asking today, how do I upgrade the memory on my new Dell XPS laptop? And as you can imagine, this is a really common question. Dell receives this probably thousands of times per day in their call center. And so we create a new case right here on the screen. And now previously, solving this case meant you had to go into a different system, oftentimes a software application, to try and find the knowledge and then try and piece it back together with the case. But with Service Cloud 2, that's no longer the case because we have the knowledge base integrated right here. So all we do as the service agent is click this button on the screen that says Search Articles, and we're brought right to the Knowledge Articles tab, where we can search the knowledge base. And in fact, the knowledge base starts to recommend knowledge. This makes the agent job really easy. In fact, you can see some of the analytics right there in the bottom of the screen. And of course, on the left-hand side of the screen, we have filters. So the agent can filter this list down and say, oh, just show me the laptops. Just show me the consumer products. And when we think we have the right answer, we can actually drill into it and preview it before we disseminate it back to the customer. So there's a couple things you're going to see here. Every knowledge article can contain rich media, imagery, JPEGs, embedded HTML, even embedded video. And the other thing that you can see is that you can customize Service Cloud to match your business. And so in the case of Dell, they've structured these documents to include some product descriptions, some details, the step-by-step procedures. And in fact, because they're a high-tech company, of course, they have this compatibility issue to worry about. But now, as the service agent, when I've got the right answer, all I have to do is, with the click of a mouse, attach this knowledge article back to the case, and I can disseminate this back to the customer, relaying it to them via voice over the telephone, or emailing it to them right here on the screen so they can print it out and follow the step-by-step guide. Right? We're integrated to the workflow in the business process of any company, of your company. But what happens when another customer has the same question and they don't actually go to the call center? What if they go to Dell's website, click on support, and log into the customer portal? What would they see? Well, now, with Service Cloud 2, not only can they log into the portal, see these marketing campaigns. They can change their account. They can log trouble tickets. They can download brochures. They also get access to the knowledge base in a self-service manner. So they click on knowledge, and of course they, via self-service, can actually browse the knowledge base in the exact same way that the service agent had access to it. They can now do it in a self-service fashion. Now, as Marc was saying, well, this is great. The telephone, the customer portal, but more and more today, customers, you all are going right here. You're going to Google. Because Google's trained us that all we have to do is Google it, and Google will guide us to the answer. So what happens today, now, when a customer goes to Google and just types in, upgrade the memory on my XPS laptop? Well, no longer is that knowledge locked behind the four walls of a company. It's not locked inside of some database. It's accessible on the public internet because Service Cloud 2 is actually running on a cloud platform, which means that any company, your company, in this case Dell, can actually expose all or a subset of that knowledge base out to the public internet. It can be found by search engines like Google and Yahoo, and people can be guided to your website to find the answer. Again, a subset, that article, or the entire knowledge base, you can see it right here on the screen. Now, what is it like to change the Service Cloud? Because all of our businesses change. In the case of Dell, they introduce new products, new services all the time. In fact, you may have seen that Dell recently introduced a new line of netbook, mini computers. So what if they wanted to add a new category, put some knowledge articles in that new category of netbooks? What would it look like? Well, the Service Cloud can be configured and customized exactly like the Sales Cloud through point and click right in the browser. In fact, you don't even have to have technical skills. If you can administer the Sales Cloud, you can administer the Service Cloud. So when we want to include this new category of Dell netbooks, we just type it into the screen, save it, and if we want to publish it to the website, we just click one button and it publishes to the website, and we're done. And I didn't have to configure any web servers. I didn't have to move any files around. I didn't have to install any middleware. I didn't have to synchronize any databases. That's it. You see the category configured in the Service Cloud right here on the screen. And now if we bring back up the website and refresh the website, that new category will immediately appear on the website. That's really the power of cloud computing, is that everything can happen in real time. Now, that's a really common question. How do I upgrade the memory on my laptop? And as you can expect, that's the type of question that Dell receives thousands of times per day. But what about all those obscure questions? All those questions, you've seen it. You've probably called into a call center. If we can bring back up the slide, please. Call into a call center or go onto a website, and we've asked a question, and we actually couldn't find the answer. Right? These obscure questions are really the long tail of knowledge, and it escapes the knowledge base of most companies. But really, the answers to these questions are out there with you. They exist on the internet. And actually, consumer websites have figured out an answer, a paradigm, with sites like LinkedIn Answers and Yahoo Answers, where millions of people come together and answer each other's questions. So somebody can ask a question, and then a whole bunch of other people can actually dogpile on it, attempt to answer the question, vote it up, vote it down, and ultimately the best answer is found on the internet, not by a single expert that works for a company, but by the internet at large, the entire community. We crowdsource the answer, is what we call it. But what if you want to have this exact same capability for your company? What if you want to have this exact same crowdsourcing capability for your customer service organization? What are you to do? Well, with Service Cloud 2, we're now including that exact application. It's an application called Salesforce Answers. And we're not only shipping it to be able to plug right into your website, right into your customer portal, we're also shipping it as a Facebook application, because there are 300 million people that already live every single day on Facebook. So let's go ahead and bring back up the demo, and let's show you Service Cloud 2 running on Facebook. So what we can see here on the screen is an example of a Facebook user. This is a gentleman named Tom Davis. And when he had a question about his Dell products, he actually didn't pick up the phone or go to the website or go to the portal. He just went to Facebook because that's where he lives. And so he went to Dell's homepage or the fan page on Facebook. This is the community homepage for a company. Even your company can do this right on Facebook. And at the top of the screen, if we can zoom in there, what you can see is that Dell has installed not only the wall and the info, which are the standard out-of-the-box tabs on Facebook, but they also have the Answers application. Service Cloud 2 is running right on Facebook. And if we drill into Answers, we can see that everybody in the Dell community is actually asking questions and answering questions. One more click, and now we can actually see Tom's question on the screen. So Tom is asking something more obscure. How actually do I output video from my new Dell netbook to my high-def TV? Or even better, what's the best way to do that? And there you can see on the screen all other members of the Facebook community, like Ciara and Dan and Steve, are attempting to answer this question. So you can see one Facebook user, Dan, that says, well, you can use this VGA output on the side. And then another user below Dan says, well, you could do that, but actually if you use this HDMI cable, it's better. The picture will be better. And the great thing about these sites is, of course, there's a voting mechanism built in. So you can see that Steve's answer actually has 6 times more people having voted for it than Dan's answer. So when Tom tries this and it works, let's go ahead and vote this up. The 89th time on Facebook, they call it liking it. Now the cool thing is that Tom got his question answered. But the best thing is for Dell, all of this is actually running on the Service Cloud, which means that Dell has access to all of these answers, and they can crowdsource this knowledge, the correct answer, the best answer that just came from Steve, and they can put it in their knowledge base. Let's go ahead and bring that up. Let's look at Service Cloud 2. So there's a new tab in Service Cloud 2 called Facebook Answers. And so you can see right here on the screen all of the questions and all of the answers that are being tracked on Facebook right now. And if we drill into one, you can see very clearly right there on the screen that there, in fact, is that exact same conversation, that same Q&A session that we just saw on Facebook, but it's now in the Service Cloud. And the data is in the Service Cloud. And now the best thing is, with one click, a service agent at Dell can take a piece of knowledge, something that was crowdsourced from Facebook, Steve's answer, and populate the knowledge base. And then in real time, that information can be made accessible to the service agents, to the portal, to the public support website, to Google, and obviously to everybody in the Facebook community. So that is a really cool application. We had a lot of fun building that application, but one of the hottest areas of customer service, what you've been asking for this year, has actually not been Facebook. It's been a new social website that has emerged dramatically this year called Twitter. And Twitter is growing at 1,000%. It has 50 million users right now. And the most interesting thing about Twitter is that it's completely open, which means that you all can be tweeting right now. People can be talking openly on the internet about your products and services, and it's not locked behind your friend network. It's completely open. And this poses a question for customer service organizations, which is, how do I join that conversation that's happening on Twitter? When people are talking about me and my company, my products, how do I actually join into that? And I encourage all of you right now to actually go onto Twitter and search for your company and your products and see what people are saying. But how does your support organization, your service department, join that conversation? Well, with Service Cloud 2, we're also shipping Salesforce for Twitter baked in. And this is a live product that's available to all of you right now. Let's go ahead and bring up the Twitter screen. So what you can see is the live Twitter website. And now we're looking at a gentleman on Twitter, Dan Buckley, and when Dan had a question about his Dell netbook, he didn't pick up the phone or go to the portal. He was actually on Twitter. So he just posted a question on Twitter. And now the great thing is, with Service Cloud 2, everybody can set up a support channel on Twitter so people can tweet directly into your support hotline. So Dan said, I want to ask Dell, how do I hook up my netbook to my high-def TV? And of course, when we post this via Twitter, anyone that's following Dan can actually see that happen in real time. The best thing is, of course, that this is integrated into the Service Cloud. So if we bring up screen number 2, what we can see is we can actually see what Dell sees inside of their customer service department. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. Great. On the second screen to your left, what you can see is the Service Cloud. And now you can see a tab called Twitter Conversations. And so in this Twitter Conversations tab, this is Dell monitoring all of the community's conversations about Dell products and services that are happening right now on the internet. And now we can actually route this support case that was just posted on Twitter directly to somebody who's actually got the knowledge to be able to answer that question. So let's filter this list down and just look at the netbook conversations. And right there at the top of the screen, you see Dan Buckley's tweet. How do I hook up my Dell netbook to my high-def TV? And because it's totally integrated to the workflow and the business process, we've automatically created a case. So let's go ahead and look at that case inside of the Service Cloud. Now, what you can see here is that we've automatically created a case. And of course, we've got the Twitter conversation down there at the bottom of the screen. But again, we're integrated into the knowledge base. So with one click, the service agent can reach into the knowledge base and try and find the answer. And the system begins, again, to recommend the most relevant knowledge. And right there at the top of the list is actually the knowledge article that we just crowdsourced from Facebook. And now we've got it in our knowledge base. The service agent, with one click, can attach it to the case and now disseminate that information back out to Dan. But again, how do we do that? Because we don't have Dan's phone number and we don't have Dan's email address. because Dan lives out on Twitter. And now with Service Cloud 2, you can actually tweet knowledge right from the knowledge base back out to Twitter. And you can see that right here on the screen. We check the knowledge base, we check the article, and we press this button in the middle of the screen that says send tweet. And we're brought to a screen where we actually have auto-created a short-form Twitter post. We can customize this and change it right here on the screen if we want. And when we're ready, we say send. And in real time, as fast as the information can go from the Service Cloud to Twitter and back out to Dan, the customer case is closed and solved. You see a record of that right here in the Service Cloud. And now I want to direct your attention to the screen on the right, because as soon as Dan refreshes his homepage, he actually gets the response back from Dell in real time in Twitter. And so the great thing is you can start to see how all these technologies intertwine, from the customer service agent who's manning the telephone, integrating the knowledge base, plugging into the customer portal, exposing information out on the public support website so that it can be found by Google, crowdsourcing knowledge not only from your own website but on Facebook where there's 300 million active members, and leveraging the newest form of customer service, the hottest growing social community, which is Twitter. This is really the next generation of customer service. It's Service Cloud 2. Now I'll hand it back to Marc. Thank you.
All right. Great job, Kraig. Kraig, we have one of your customers here as well. We want to bring out Mukesh Mehta. Mukesh, come on out. Mukesh is with TD Ameritrade. He's the managing director of business technologies. Welcome, Mukesh.
Thanks, Marc.
Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you.
Terrific. And you've met Kraig?
Hey, Kraig.
Absolutely.
Now, Mukesh, first of all, congratulations on being one of the first customers who've deployed this great new technology. Now, I understand that you've had some great support, and of course, TD Ameritrade, you're doing 24/7 support. I think you have 7 million customers, something like that. Can you tell us a little about what you're doing with Service Cloud 2?
Oh, sure. So in 2006, we deployed the Sales Cloud across all of our locations.
2006, you deployed the Sales Cloud, right?
Last year, we deployed the Service Cloud across all of our back
offices. At that point, you were still just Ameritrade, though, right?
We were just Ameritrade, that's right. 2007, last year, we deployed the Service Cloud across all of our locations through all of our back office and call center employees. The deployment is incredible. We basically use Salesforce as our container to consolidate our front, middle, and back office application suite. We also have integrated a tight integration with CTI to have reduce our call handling time. Also a tight integration to our SOA framework to offer real-time balances and positions. Really offering our sales and service associates a 360 view of our clients.
Now, Mukesh, I don't know if you know this, but it's been a pretty crazy year for the financial services industry.
Yeah, I kind of know that.
Okay. Well, how has this affected you, and has Sales Cloud and Service Cloud helped you at all during this craziness?
You know, our clients are more demanding than ever, and they have a high expectation. When they call our service teams, they expect us to know what's out there. You know, they want us to have their basic information at least, so they can ask us the more complex questions, have a more thorough discussion about their investment portfolios. And that 360 view that we just talked about, and that thorough data and information that we can offer to our service associates is incredible to change the level of service to those more complex questions.
What's next for TD Ameritrade and Service Cloud 2, Mukesh?
You know, we are a company that's grown by acquisition over the years, and we've made a few acquisitions this year as well, and that deployment of our Service Cloud across TD has been great, and we're going to look to deploy it across those new acquisitions as well.
That's fantastic. Kraig, any questions for Mukesh?
No, that's great. Thank you, Mukesh.
Well, thank
really
you.
Appreciate it.
Mukesh, thanks for being a great customer. And will you be here at the conference? And can you talk to these people about what you're doing?
I'm here. I'm around. Please look me up.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Thank
Mukesh, Kraig, thanks very much. Service Cloud 2, launched here at Dreamforce. All right. Well, we're through the Service Cloud 2 announcement, and now we're going to be moving into the Sales Cloud 2 announcement. And then we're going to be moving into the brand new cloud, the Mystery Cloud.